All right, let's head to the papers now. Let's see what Nigerians are saying. We'll begin with this Nigeria. And this Nigeria says National Assembly uncovers 206 billion naira smuggled into humanitarian ministry's budget. All right. Sadiya Farouq speechless during defense, blames finance counterpart. Senate summons Zainab Ahmed. Okay. All right. This is quite interesting a story as it is. Well, the Nigerians are really talking, right? But National Assembly uncovers 206 billion naira smuggled into humanitarian ministry's budget. Okay, from there, let's go to First News. First News is screaming, who done it? Who done it is an old expression, as old as the early, about almost 100 years ago. You can refer to who did it. Who done it is what it's there. It's saying 206 billion naira inserted in my ministry's 2023 budget. Sadiya Farouq cries out, okay, and expresses surprise. Money not released for NEDC projects in 2022 now recurs tenfold. Senate resolves to summon finance minister. Okay, all this on the front page of the First News. From there, let's go to Nigerian News Direct. It says Senate humanitarian minister battle over alleged 206 billion naira budget padding. Okay, I recall this has been an issue. The National Assembly has been a topic of discussion for so many years. The Daily Times is next. Daily Times is saying 2023, no excuses, blame games if Nigerians hire me. Obi is saying this, Peter Obi of the Labour Party says job of a leader is to find solutions, deal with issues, build a better country. Denies offering Kwankwaso money to step down for him. You see this on the front page of the Daily Times. From there, let's go to the Nation newspaper. Why Atiku PDP will lose in 2023 by Kwankwaso. Why Atiku PDP will lose in 2023 by Kwankwaso. It says nobody can win presidential poll without Lagos, Kano, and Rivers State. No indication we will lose. PDP tells NNPP candidates. That was a reply from the PDP publicity secretary, rather. All right. Okay. Even the presidential campaign council spokesperson also reacted to that, Dino Melai, on his verified Twitter handle. Leadership newspaper is next. Constitutional amendment is the focus here. Hope rises as 16 states vote for local government autonomy. Hope rises as 16 states vote for local government autonomy. That's what leadership newspaper there has. It says 3 states vote against. Adamawa abstains, and the eight states votes needed to overcome a hurdle. CSO foresees a favorable outcome. All this you see on the front page of the leadership newspaper. Daily Trust is next, and it says Bauchi Gombe residents demand jobs, clean environment. Say we don't want a repeat of Niger Delta crisis. All right, fast track infrastructure to make drilling a reality. You shall be well with PIA implementation. Experts are saying this. All right, all this on the front page of the Daily Trust. The Punch newspaper is next, and it says federal government domestic airlines legal battle kicks off on Thursday. 10 lawyers to lead local airlines legal team. Senior Advocate of Nigeria, professors drafted. Aviation Ministry Director leads government lawyers, plans to vacate injunction. All right, all this you see on the front page of the Punch newspaper, and this is a battle against the against the national carrier. Okay, the last one we're looking at now is Business Day. Business Day says 5G auction sets stage for telecom's future. 5G auction sets a stage for telecom's future. Recall that Nigeria has launched its 5G technology just a few months ago. and Nigeria is already spreading that. The companies are spreading that across the country. From there, let's okay. That's the papers this morning. I'd like us to look at this very. Some will say, okay, this is really interesting. Let's get to know. I like the way First News screamed, "Who done it? Who done it? Who done it is an old expression, almost about 100 years. You know, but it just refers to who did it.
Yes, and this Nigeria smuggled.
Exactly. Now, the issue of budget padding has been with us for so many. I recall former President Olusegun Obasanjo had used some adjectives to qualify members of the National Assembly at a time that led to rift between them and the Assembly, you know, calling them all sorts of names that because of the issues of how budgets are padded with a lot of figures. Recall that a member of the House,
The Speaker.
Exactly,
Speaker
Dogara also had some of these issues.
Padding is not corruption. And Jonathan said stealing is not corruption.
And then a former member, Abdulmumuni, from Kano State, had a running battle with the National Assembly at a time when he said that there was budget padding in the budget. Now, this issue seemed not to go away and may not go away anytime soon.
We need to go straight to the bottom of this story. Who was responsible for padding it? Well, the point, there's one clear thing there, and that is that the minister herself did not do any rigorous examination of her own budget before she sent it. She is not in charge of her own budget. If she was caught napping on this issue, she was not in charge. It's a scandal.
The Minister of Humanitarian or Finance?
The Minister of Humanitarian.
Yeah, but she's the one raising alarm.
Why should you be raising alarm about your own incompetence? They asked her. She didn't raise the alarm until they asked her in the house. Okay, wait, what's happening with this money? 206 billion. It's not 6 billion. It's not 206 naira. 206 billion. You have to count 1, 2, 3, 4. So there was really, it was not subtle padding. This is barefaced, inglorious stealing. That's what it was about.
Yeah,
and this is not the first time they are having this problem.
No, the issue has been on. You know, year after year they talk about the issue of padding and all of that. But some people have said that, well, for the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs to come out to raise this alarm tells that she is not part of it. And she has said in one of the papers, they said, well, ask the Finance Minister.
No. It is your ministry. Don't run away from your responsibility. You carry the monkey. You are responsible. I mean, before you go to your budget, you have had a meeting with your people, and then they will have come the various parts of the budget and say, well, this is what it is. This is what we are going to spend. This is how we are going to spend it. And then you are supposed, as a manager, to say, well, why are we spending this much? What is our goal? What are the resources necessary to achieve this goal? And things like that. You have the basic questions. She probably didn't ask any questions. And then they brought it to her and said, oh, is the budget ready? Okay, go to the House of Assembly. It is not nothing. Some people have hijacked her, and she needs to punish them in order to retrieve her own credibility. This is not the first time we're having a problem with this. Even when the Vice President was in charge of it, there were problems. Even the international agencies had problems with the Vice President handling of that humanitarian aspect of it. That's why they cut the ministry out of Oshibajo's hand and created and put the President Minister.
Yeah.
But the President Minister has problem. Remember during EndSARS when nobody was in school? They were still feeding.
Yeah, they were still feeding
the goats and the lizards and the rodents in the classroom.
They were feeding
with 2 billion naira. You know? So you see, it is a humanitarian budget without humanity. That's what it is.
All right. Now, this boils down back to the issue of corruption that one would say. And one wonders, maybe in the coming days, we're going to see EFCC or ICPC and they'll sweep into the issue and try to unravel it. Because at this point, if it is not clear who padded the budget with 206 billion, then it will be long before the whole thing comes out.
We should be happy that this was discovered.
Exactly.
And that is the part of the glories of the kind of system we have, where you also have checks and balances. Where the House will not just say, this is my budget, but the minister or the executive cannot just say, this is my budget.
Just pass it.
And just pass it. So you have also the legislature to put a censorious eye on the budget, and that's what they have done. But the whole thing still lies on the minister to redeem herself, and she has to get some scapegoats, or she will be the
scapegoat. She will be the scapegoat herself.
Yes.
Okay. Now, another issue I'd like us to talk about briefly is the issue of the local government autonomy. Not all states are in support of the issue of local government autonomy.
Well, when we're in the federal system, it is supposed to be federal government and state.
Okay.
That is the way the federal system works. Bringing the local government autonomy into it, some people may say it is a good idea on paper, but it creates administrative bottlenecks in the federal system, because the state is supposed to be another unit. It's supposed to be a unit under the federal structure. But some people feel the reason people want local governments to be separate in themselves is that they believe that the state runs the local governments. It is not a problem. You don't solve a problem of structure, of values by structure, because the structure itself will be devalued. Because if you want to say, okay, it is because of the people who oppose themselves on the local government will become lost unto themselves.
Yeah, of course.
Because the problem is not with the structure. The problem is with the people. So you don't solve the problem of the people by structure, because the people will not destroy the structure.
Wow.
So the structure cannot take over the people. The people will always take over the structure. So when you have a bad structure and you want to break it more, you have more people taking over more parts of the structure. So you don't create a problem for that. The real thing is to make sure that we have accountability in the system. If we have accountability in the system, we'll solve it. You cannot solve it by creating local government. There have been local governments where the local government chairman lives in Lagos.
Yeah.
In many parts of
or in the state capital.
Or in the state capital. And then they only go there to see things for themselves. They are not they're not connected to the people. So what they are trying to do is a battle for resources. And when you give them the resources, they take the resources, they're not responsible. They're not necessarily responsible. Some will be responsible, some will not be responsible. But the argument for most people is that the state governments take the funds from the local government and so on. Maybe what we need is to create more strict laws and accountability structure to make sure that the local governments have access to their resources that don't necessarily have to be rammed. They don't have their throats rammed down by the chief executive.
And that was why the argument from the federal government at the time was the issue of this autonomy will help when allocations are being, disbursed. Local government will get their own funds directly instead of going through the states.
That's Buhari's sense of what happened. And, it's coming from the military experience and background, where they think that the states should be excised from the local government. But then these local governments and the states are one. And where is the state without the local government? And where is the local government?
And where is the federal government without the state?
Where is the federal government without the state? So that is it. So it's part of it is a tension. Part of the problem is the tension between the center and the states.
Yeah.
And is that the federal government politically trying to undermine the states, or control the states by being chummy with the local
Yeah,
government.
exactly.
But this person did it too. The military president, IBB.
IBB.
Yes, he pays a lot of attention to local government at that time, so as to make him look like a grassroots.
Yeah, grassroots person. Well, it's what they call balance of power,
Yes,
where you have a tripod, or
in
even,
a place like
even more
that,
than that.
federalism is run in different places, in different countries. Our own model here is closer to that of the United States, where you have the counties and then you have the state governments and so on. But the counties themselves are not seen as the units of the federal system. The states are seen as the units of the federal system.
Right.
In a place like Switzerland, you have the cantons, which are different, because of the structure of the country, it's different from what we have here. In the UK, it's a different situation, because they don't have like state governments.
No, exactly. They have a very unique structure.
System.
Yeah. So some people had said that because you have the exclusive, the concurrent, and the residual lists,
yes,
and the federal, state, and local government, that as you run concurrence between the state and federal, that there should be a concurrence between the state and local government.
Yeah, you're trying to rewrite the constitution.
Okay.
That's why you do that. That's why they are trying to get votes across the states, because they've got 16 now. They're getting closer, but I don't know if they'll be able to get the
Well,
numbers.
it's another thing. We'll wait to see how they will pan all that out.
So they're about halfway. They're halfway.
Yes,
No,
maybe a
halfway.
little above half, in fact. But let's wait to see how that.
No, they're not even up to half yet.
Oh, they're not up to
36. That should be
36. Oh, okay.
Yes,
they have about
2 to half.
2. Oh, yeah. They still have 2 more.
To half. So to half, right? But half is not enough. They have to have 2/3.
2/3. It's true.
Yeah, so they still have ways to go.
It's still a long way.
Yeah.
It's true. It's 2/3. 2/3. All right.